season Coach Brew show. Next week we start the playoffs, and you know what that means? That means we're going to get the brackets out, and Coach Brew is going to make all his picks.
Right.
And you know what, Coach Brew, I think we're going to add something. We're going to have a guest picker every week.
I like it.
To go against you. But let's go through last week and this week. Last week, Coach Brew, tough one. The good, the bad, the ugly, the Central Wildcats.
Right. The good, the bad, the ugly. All right. I think something that I took away from that game was, we're down 21-7 at one point. I felt like our guys, battled back and persevered and did the things they had to do to pull that thing to, basically tie a score at halftime. And then we had a war in the second half and got after it and scored late and had a chance to tie that thing late in the fourth quarter. We didn't get it done, but I was happy that our kids played with some resiliency there, and so that's good. The bad, anytime there's a loss, that's going to go number one on my bad list. Quick, easy, done deal. Bad, we lost. Ugly, I was talking to our guys in the team meeting the first practice of the week on Sunday evening, and I said, listen, what do you think about something? I think Central had 350 yards of offense. I think we had 330-something. Central had 17 first downs. Zachary had 17 first downs. We each had one turnover. But the way things work out in the game, it's about when things take place, right? So our turnover happened to happen, earlier in the game on our own 15-yard line. They had an opportunity to turn around and score points. Their turnover took place. And although it kept them from getting points, it didn't allow us to try to get any points because it was the end of the half, right? So that one little thing right there was a monster, right? We gave up a kick return for a touchdown. That's always something. Did you know? I'm gonna give you a little stat here, Warren. You're a long-time football guy. You probably know this, but did you know that when one team scores a special teams touchdown, they're 75% more likely to win the football game?
Wow.
On all levels of football. 75%. Right. Those kinds of things happen sometimes, and now we got to bounce back. I'll tell you, we didn't play during the season, and I was very proud of the way our guys came back the next week, had a great week of practice and preparation, played well on Friday. And I'll tell you, that was a tough game on Thursday. And so when we came back in for practice, I was interested to see how our guys were going to react to that. And it's really been a good week of practice. I'm very proud of them. I'm very proud of the preparation and the focus level that we've had this week. So I'm excited to watch our kids go compete on Thursday.
All right, before we leave Central, our Farm Bureau Player of the Week and Coach of the Week.
Yeah.
Why don't you tell me a little bit about those guys?
I'm fired up this week. Christian Cozy, our punter, is our Farm Bureau Player of the Week this week. Christian's one of those guys that has put a tremendous amount of work into his craft, and I watch him. I watch him prepare every day. I watch him during the 7th hour when he's out there with Coach Joey and the wrestling specialists, training every day. Hell, I think there's probably 10% of our crowd on Friday nights come just to watch pregame, watch him kick bombs out there. And
guilty.
And, right, watch him kick bombs in pregame, right? So just an awesome kid that is a great part of our program, a kid who's stuck with our program. There were times where I felt so bad for Christian because our JV team is pretty good, and we scored a lot of points, and we just never punted the ball with JV, like once or twice in the season, right? So that's all you got to do, right? So I felt bad for him, but he's getting his chance now, and he's certainly. I don't have the exact stats in front of me, but they're pretty awesome from the other night. What was it?
2 punts, averaged 49 yards. He had a 60-yarder, and both punts were inside the 5.
Right.
Not the 10, not the 20, inside the 5.
Unbelievable. And then the Farm Bureau Coach of the Week, our kicking coach, Coach Joey Free, is with us tonight. Ladies and gentlemen, we'll be on a 10-second sound bite delay on the microphones just to make sure my boy Joey doesn't get us kicked out with the FCC rolling in here and shutting down our program. But we're excited to hear from Coach Joey later on. Coach Joey is a great coach for us and does a tremendous job with our specialists and puts a ton of time into that year round with our guys, and I'm excited to have him on the show tonight.
All right, folks, get your questions in. Ms. Crowder, you want to get those questions? Wave your hand. She's taking questions. Miss Diane is here, so we have prizes. Miss Diane, we got something good tonight?
We got caps, shirts.
Oh, wow.
We have caps, we have shirts, we have gift cards, we have visors, we have lottery tickets. We don't have lottery tickets.
Walk-on discount cards, we got it all.
It's all good, so you got to get your questions in. Until we get some questions, we're not going to do a drawing. All right, before we go, Coach Brew, to our first break, tomorrow night, the volleyball team heading up to Benton. How about that?
Shreveport, Louisiana. That's a long way. So we're fired up. We got the contract in today for that Dixieland bus, put that volleyball team on there and head north. So the girls have had a good season. They're the 18th ranked team in the state right now, and so we're hoping to send them up north and come home with a win.
All right, because it's, the end of the regular season, let's go through it. The middle school went 6-3 and won a district championship.
They did? Yeah.
What'd the freshmen do?
Yeah, freshmen are actually concluding their season as we speak. They are over in Baton Rouge facing the Catholic Bears tonight for their season finale game. So we're excited about that. They played Catholic earlier in the year, so we're certainly excited to see what the outcome of tonight is going to be. Closed down the season pretty good. Had a good win last week against Central, and then they're, like I said, closing it out tonight. So they've had a good season. Coach Q and the boys have been getting it done. I think they're 6-2. So trying to finish out with a win tonight.
JV
had another undefeated season this year.
Wow.
JV played really well. We were talking the other day, the 12 years that we've been here, we lost a total of 3 JV games over those 12 years. Our kids have always done a really good job of preparing, our varsity staff, coaches JV as well, and we're all there for every game, and we put a lot of emphasis on that. And but certainly very proud of our guys for going undefeated again this year and winning another district championship.
All right, we're going to take our first break, get the questions in. When we come back, we're going to find out about those Catholic Bears. Coach Brew knows a little bit about those Catholic Bears.
A little bit.
Was it in August, Coach Brew, that you became a Grizzly great?
Yeah, in August.
So we're going to talk about that and other things after the break. Get your questions in. Say the word. All right, we are back. It is the last game of the season. When they redid the district, they said Zachary versus Catholic to end it. Coach Brew, let's talk about those Catholic Bears.
Yeah, you know, the Catholic Bears, year after year, you put the film on, it's different players out there, but they look the same. You know, I mean, they're a well-coached, stable program. They do a good job. I'm not sure what their record is right now. 8-1 maybe.
West Monroe.
Oh yeah, 7-2.
7-2.
West Monroe, and then the Madison Griffin from Mississippi.
Yeah.
Good football team. When you watch them play, they do a lot of different things offensively. Tons of different formations, motions, shifts, those kinds of things. Lots of eye candy to kind of get you out of position if they can, and got some tremendous running backs. Play a 2-quarterback system. I know both those kids run the offense really well. Defensively, they're good. They're where they're supposed to be when they're supposed to be there. It's a typical Catholic team, you know, when you put the film on. You know, when you see these two teams line up and play, you know, last year 120 something points, I think, between the two teams. The year before that, we lose an overtime game to them. The year before that, they kicked a field goal with 1 second left on the clock to beat us. So all the games that we've had against them have been, you know, close, hard-fought, physical football games. And I wouldn't expect anything different this go around. You know, a lot of fun to play against those guys. Certainly, they're very challenging as far as our players are concerned. They're very challenging as far as what our coaches have to do to get prepared for that week. So just a lot of fun to line up and play. You know, it'll be a packed house. It'll be a great crowd at Memorial Stadium on Thursday. I hear that Catholic does not have school on Friday, which means that their crowd will be even bigger on Thursday. So it should be a lot of fun.
Just to reiterate what you said, folks, this is our second week in a row. It is a Thursday night game at Memorial, so be there. Now, Coach Brew, everybody knows you went to Catholic.
Right.
We mentioned earlier, you were inducted into the Grizzly Greats, which is the Catholic High School Hall of Fame.
Right.
Football and wrestling. Talk a little bit about that honor.
I would say, you know, it's a very special honor. Any athlete that plays in Catholic certainly would love to see their name in there at some point during their life. You know, I graduated from there 30 years ago. 30 years ago? 25, yeah, 35 years ago. So you know, it's a special place with a special tradition as far as athletics are concerned. You know, my father played there, both of my brothers played there, all my uncles, my grandfather, you know, so yeah, it means a lot to me. It's a very special place. I enjoyed my time there, both as a student athlete there, but also, you know, I coached there when I was in college. I was the freshman coach there as well. But anyway, I was very lucky to play on some great teams there, and had some tremendous teammates that you know, gave me opportunities to succeed, and so yeah, getting inducted to the Hall of Fame was very special. I had family in from all over the country that came for that, and it was awesome. It really was.
Well, Coach Brew, this week another Grizzly great, my cousin Joe LeBlanc called me.
Did he?
Yes, for every year he calls me the week of Catholic. Hey, you gonna be at Memorial? Hey, you gonna be at Zachary? Sometimes I think Joe's dead.
Right. Well, believe me, you should feel very privileged that you spoke to him. I've left 3 messages in the last 2 months. I can't get him.
Well, my mother keeps saying we need to put an APB out,
Right.
missing persons alert, because Joe. I said, Mom, he's in the woods somewhere. But so you played for Joe.
I did. Yeah. Uh-huh.
You want to talk? Well, Joe LeBlanc, folks, was a principal here at Zachary in 2015. We need to go back to 2015 because we recognized those guys last week. But Joe LeBlanc, he was your O-line coach. Talk about that.
There was some interesting times there with Joe as a coach. The kind of player that I was, I didn't really respond all that great to someone standing over me, screaming and yelling and cursing at me. Right? I just didn't really respond to that all that well. But what Joe would do is he would stand behind me. Let's say I had a bad play or something in practice. He would stand behind me and he would say things like, "Hey, Brew, no big deal. I mean, you're just not that talented. You can't make that play. It's all right. It's not a problem." And then I would absolutely lose my mind and try to kill everyone within immediate, And he thought that was the funniest thing in the world. He would just push my buttons. But no, great man. Our families grew up together, and it was difficult sometimes with Joe LeBlanc. He was my O-line coach, he was my physics teacher, and he was my across-the-street neighbor. So I couldn't get away with anything, Hey, you got home a little late the other night, I couldn't get away with anything. But then I get the job here, and he becomes the principal a month into my tenure here. So that was fun. It was fun to coach with him and to coach under him, I should say, and listen to him. Sometimes I felt like I was the student athlete all over again, with Joe being the boss. So we had a good time together.
All right, let's go back to 2015. Last Thursday night.
Yeah.
2015, first state championship team at Zachary. I was told, unfortunately I couldn't make it in the game, I was told by multiple people that you spoke to every one of the players that came. You at the half, you made it a point to acknowledge and speak to every one of them. Talk about that team.
I did. That was certainly a very special team there. A team that really kick-started the championship culture around here, and what an unbelievable group of guys. And I can't tell you how lucky I am and how blessed I am for that to have been the football team that I inherited. They were in 14 and then in 15 to be able to coach those guys again and win a championship with them. It was super special. That team was there was just something about them. Like, losing wasn't going to happen. Like, they would not allow it to take place. We lost a nationally televised game on ESPN to Calvary Baptist in week 5 of that season. Calvary was loaded. They went 15-0. They had, I think they had 6 or 7 guys sign Division I scholarships off that team. But we lost a 1-score game to them. And I remember being in that locker room after the game. I was very proud of the way that our guys played. It was a really hard-fought game, and boy, they were not upset. They were furious. I'm talking about mad. And I said, "Yep, I can work with these cats, no doubt about it." Right? But there were some games that year that were amazing. The Scotlandville game that we won 49-48 in our stadium. One of the greatest high school football games I've ever been a part of. Lindsey Scott was our quarterback. Levi Lewis was their quarterback. Both college quarterbacks. And man, it was just a slugfest. And Scotlandville has the ball on the 1-yard line with 5 seconds to go in the game.
Taiwan beer.
And they did not have a kicker. And they didn't have a kicker. So they had to score the touchdown to try to win it. And they ran the ball up the middle, and Taiwan Bearden came from the side, smoked that guy, and the ball shoots up in the air and falls in the end zone. We recover it to win the game. But that team was just so much fun to coach. And of course, when you got that kind of quarterback leading the show, He makes play calling a whole lot easier, you know. But that defense was so fun to watch, man. They were just violent and fast, and they were in a bad mood when they got to that football all the time, right? And so when you go win a state championship with that crew, you know, we're going to play in New Orleans for the state title against a New Orleans team. Hell, half of New Orleans was in that Superdome. I mean, John Eric's side was just packed. And
To the half.
by the end of the third quarter, they weren't there anymore for some reason.
Yeah.
But our guys just played super that year, and it was so awesome to see those guys on the field the other night. Hadn't seen a bunch of those guys in a long time, and it was really special. It really was.
All right, well, we're going to take our next break, and we got plenty of questions, so I'm going to do a drawing. Get your questions in after this break. We're going to have Christian Cozy,
Yep.
our player of the week,
Yep.
and then we're going to have Coach Joe.
Yep.
Yep. Christian's mom. All right. Miss Diane. People are going to think this is rigged. Come on, y'all. Get your questions in.
That's all right. That's good. Let's go.
All right, Miss Diane's going to bring that gift. So, our player of the week, Christian Cozy. Let's go over those stats again. 2 punts, an average of 49.5 yards, a long of 60. 2 punts inside the 5. Come on, man. So Christian, I think we ought to start with, you got anybody out here you want to recognize?
Shout out to my coach, Coach Joe. Shout out to my special team coach, Coach Crowder. I really appreciate y'all and the progress that y'all, maybe, y'all got me all the way from just sitting on that sideline. Y'all really got me to where I need to be. Shout out to my mom as well. Shout out to my family.
All right, you almost messed up there, Christian. All right, so Christian, Coach Brew set you up. I'm telling you, I love watching warm-ups. You kicking those bombs. I mean, it looks like you've done it forever. So, how long you been playing football?
I started my freshman year. I started as a receiver. I did kickoff, I did punt.
Okay. So how did you become a punter?
I ended up injuring myself my sophomore year during spring, but my coaches thought I couldn't do anything else, but I told them I could, and I showed them that I could be a punter for Zachary.
So you started your sophomore year with punting, and you pretty much put an emphasis on punting.
Yes, sir.
I love it. All right. So your mom wants to know, you're a senior, what you gonna do next year?
I plan to go to college and major in sports medicine and continue to play football.
All right, so you want to continue to play football? How'd you get started? What made you want to play football? You used to play basketball, didn't you?
Yes, sir. I ended up playing basketball and soccer and played it for like the rest of as I was coming up and I was growing up. And then I started playing football for Zachary my freshman year. And I ended up I was just like, I'm just gonna stick with football and see where I go from there.
Okay, Coach Brew said you didn't get to punt much in JV football. So I gotta ask you, do you have a favorite moment at Zachary? Doesn't have to be football, but I mean, you're a senior. You've been in the program for 4 years. What's your favorite moment?
Just being able to be with the same team and seeing how much we've came from freshman year.
That's it, huh?
Yes, sir.
All right. Anything else you got that you want folks to know? All right. Hey, you did great. Farm Bureau Player of the Week, Christian Cozy. All right, Coach Joey, jump up here. We're not going to take a break. You just jump up here. This is going to be fun. I don't have any loaded questions for Coach Joey.
Try to be.
It's all about the Z.
It's all.
We don't need no stinking questions.
All right, now just remember, Joey, we got no delay. Coach Crowder can't filter you. So, Coach Joey, how long have you been coaching at Zachary? Get close to the mic.
I think this is my 6th year. Yeah.
All right, your 6th year. Before you were coaching at Zachary, what were you doing?
Well, I have a business where I travel around the country training kickers and punters and deep snappers. I had a 5-year stint at Plaquemine High School before I was saved.
Were you saved by Coach Zito?
I was, and I need to give a shout out to Coach Zito. He was very instrumental. I don't think he knew at the time. I already knew Coach Brew from when he was almost a child. So it was like coming home to me.
All right, so you were at Plaquemine. Were you anywhere before Plaquemine?
No, I was in the corporate world for 40 years.
Okay,
and
well,
God smiled on me.
Well, let's go past those 40 years. Some of you players back there, we're fixing to dig deep. Coach, did you play college baseball?
I was on the team. Yes, I played college baseball
Where did you play college baseball?
at Louisiana State University.
Bet y'all didn't know that, did you?
I'm sorry, what?
I said, I bet they didn't know that. All right. Who was your coach?
Well, the coach officially was a guy named Jim Smith. And so when I tell people I played baseball at LSU, if I don't know them really well, I stop that story right there because it sounds really impressive. Y'all already clapped. And then I have to tell them, well, that was pre-Bertman, so that's a whole different world. And I'll tell you how different the world was. Jim Smith's main job was the equipment manager for the football team. And he had done that job apparently very well for many years. And he decided he deserved a raise. And so he went to the powers that be and they said, look, man, you know, you're a state employee. Everything is kind of slotted. There's nothing I can do. That kind of run around when they don't want to give you any more money. But, you know, if you want to make a little extra money, why don't you coach the baseball team? So that's how far Skip Bertman brought LSU baseball.
Wow. Okay, what position did you play in baseball?
I was a pitcher. And I was a two-way player because I could hit as well. So I played first base when I wasn't pitching. So I tell you, that was a magical time in my life.
Okay, so college baseball, private business, football. How did you go from, did you do football in high school or?
Yeah, I did. I was a football player and I was very skilled. I mean, I was a quarterback who could really throw the ball. I had a couple of deficiencies. One, they timed me with a calendar. I wasn't tough.
But you could throw.
I could throw. So I couldn't run and I wasn't tough. And so that really is not a good recipe for a football player.
Where'd you go to high school?
At Plaquemine. And I had the honor of coaching at my alma mater. Yeah. In fact, I what's called the new school now, I was the last class to graduate from the old school. And the new school turned 50 this year.
Oh, wow.
So that was a while back.
All right, so you're from Plaquemine.
Yeah.
I got some connections for you. You remember Mr. L.J. Raymond?
Yes, he was the principal when I was in high school, and I played basketball with his son Chris Raymond, who was the best player in the state at the time.
Did you know Randy?
Randy was a wild man, yes. I really liked Randy, but I was kind of afraid of him.
So Randy was the O-line coach at Nichols when my dad was the offensive coordinator. And Randy kept trying to recruit my brothers to leave Cal and SMU and come play at Nichols. Does that sound like Randy Raymond for you?
It does, and he probably meant it. You know, I don't know.
Randy lived next door to us. It was really an interesting time.
Yeah, they're a tremendous family, athletic family, but you know they're not IT potential.
Okay, so you said you were a great quarterback that couldn't run and wasn't tough.
No, I didn't say that.
To rewind, you said you could throw the ball.
Oh yeah,
You could throw it, but you couldn't run and you weren't tough. Still, snappers, punters, kickers. How do we get there?
Well, that is a good story. My son played for Dutchtown High School 20 or so years ago, and he hadn't played football in middle school. He was a soccer player, but he decided he wanted to go and play. I think peer pressure got to him. He wanted to play football. I said, okay, good luck with that. You know, he was already faster than I ever was. So he went out for the team, and this team had 5 future NFL players on it. Eddie Lacy.
I remember that team. We played them.
Yeah, tremendous football team. And
They beat us like a redheaded stepchild.
Oh,
that was before you, Coach Brew.
They put him at defensive back, and about a month later, he came home and said, Dad, I'm just so tired of people running past me. I think I'll become a kicker. And so I had kicked in high school as well and punted. So I said, well, I'll tell you what you need to do, but it's not going to be easy. And I use him as my model when I'm talking to my kickers. He ended up becoming a D1 dual kicker punter and paid for college, and I spent that money and went to Europe.
Well played. Okay. So here in Zachary, you've got Christian punting bombs. You've got Boston kicking. Talk about some of the players that, through the system and through the years here at Zachary.
I'll be happy to talk about the blessings that I have from coming to Zachary. I'll start with this community. If you watch the news, it's pretty tempting to throw your hands up and just say, "Oh man, we can't do it." That doesn't exist in this town. These young men that you see, and the ones who have made it here tonight, the ones who have been through the program, and my time, and what I hear from Coach Brew and all of this staff about the young men that have come through this program, it's just amazing how this community has been able to hold on to the values and quality of life that they do. For instance, Christians, I think during this interview, I'm going to talk more words than Christian has probably spoken to me in the 3 years we've worked together. But one of the things he does say repeatedly is "for my family." You know, I'm like, well, you asked him why he became a punter. Well, he had the dream of providing for his family by perhaps going to college and playing football as a receiver. He said it was because he got injured, but I think he saw the writing on the wall. You weren't going to college playing receiver, boy. But at what is that, 14, 15 years old, he came to me and he said, "Coach, you know, I need to do something because my plan was to go to college and pay for it by playing ball for my family. And so I'm not going to do it that way. I'm going to try to do it this way." At 14, 15 years old, this young man is deciding, what can I do to pay my family back for all the great things they've done for me? That's who that young man is. So I couldn't be more blessed than to have people like Christian in Boston, and we've got some more wonderful young men coming up too. So I know that was a long answer, but you're gonna learn that that's how I answer all questions.
All right, well, he's not here to talk about Boston. Your kicker.
Oh, he is here, and
I'm sorry, Boston.
you're
a kicker, you're rarely recognized.
I don't know how much you know about how much kickers work, but they have a reputation of not working really that hard. But that doesn't happen at Zachary. These guys will kick 100, 150, 175 balls a day and then go to practice. Their craft is honed through hard work, and both of those young men were fortunate to be kickers and punters at Zachary High School, while we had some amazing kickers and punters, Raphael and Kellen and on and on, but they were treated with Christianity in mind, and then they paid it forward. If you could see the leadership that these two young men show in just how to be, how to act. This is what we do. This is how you work. This is what you say. This is how you carry yourself. Again, I'll go back to this community, and those two young men, as well as many, many others on this team, will inspire you about the future of this world, because I think we're in pretty good hands.
Did they ever tell you about the punter we had in 2018?
Is Donnie?
No. Sean Burrell.
Yeah.
Olympic trials.
Yeah.
In the 400 meters.
Yeah, every time I start really feeling good about myself, Brew reminds me, yeah, we did this before you got here.
I just had to throw it out there. Okay, now, do you work with Lawson? Has been deep snapping this year. He's done a great job.
Oh, he improves every month dramatically. Trimming, his improvement is measured in hundredths of a second. And I'll tell you, when you're getting that finely tuned and that's your challenge, and we notice when you consistently have shaved off 2/100ths of a second, that's tough judgment. His character is, again, like the other, he's got a couple of young guys coming up under him that he's helped come along, and he's just been amazing. I look to see a good future for him playing this sport.
Tell me about Cam Massengill. How hard is it?
He's
Talk
quick.
to me. Talk to me.
If you just want to talk about improvement, Massengill, from the time that I met him in the 9th grade, has turned himself into an athlete. And, you know, I wasn't one of those people who was naturally gifted as an athlete. And some people have the want, some people are given it, and some people have the want. And Massengill is one of those with the want. We ask a lot of him. It's way more than just catch the ball and put it on the block.
That's the question. People think, oh, all he does is he catches the ball, he puts it. It's not that easy, is it?
It is not. And then we complicate it further for Lawson and him by trying to counter quick rushes. So we have a built-in delay that they govern themselves. So once they get out on the field, all I'll say is the flash, in which case we'll snap it on Massengill's signal, or delay, and then it really becomes tricky, but they're very, very good at it. It's a blind kind of, he's going to snap it when he's ready, not when everyone thinks so, and it's worked really well for us, but it takes a lot of mental discipline to be able to do that flawlessly, and that's what they've done.
All right, do you have any thoughts on trick plays? Because you know who loves to do trick plays on special teams? That's Brew's thing, those crazy punts. But have you ever had any fakes that you say, hey, Brew, try this?
No, that's out my lane. I just get the kickers and punters ready to do what they say, but I don't have any voice in that.
All right, last question. I ask everybody this. Why is Zachary the greatest place you've ever coached?
The delay is it more important to me because this is a community that's unbelievable, or is it more important for me to say David Brewerton? So that's a hard question to answer.
He's your boss. You can say that too.
Well, like I said, I've known him since he was a young man, and sometimes you are taught the right things and don't do them. And sometimes you're taught the right things and you become David Brewer. So.
Well played, your coach of the week. Coach Joey. All right, we're going to take a break. When we come back, we're going to ask Coach Brew, get your questions in. We'll do one more drawing. Oh man, she's screening the questions. You got to write your name real clear. If she can't read your name, that's trouble. Nope, man, I tell you what. Come on, just pick one. All right, Kimball. Which one of the Kimball said, "How does it feel to play your alma mater?" All right, come on up. What you got, Miss Diane? All right, Coach Brew, you knew that one was coming.
Yeah.
What's it feel like to play your alma mater?
I mean, I gotta be honest. It's happened so many times now. It's week 10 game now. You know, I mean, like it's a game that we gotta go try to get taken care of and get us ready to go for the postseason. So, you know, it still means a little something to see that C on the side of the helmet, but it's another game at this point. Got to get it done.
All right, Coach Brew. Tonight, we got Coach Joey here. Let's get a shout out to your special teams guys. You got your holder, your snapper, your kicker. You want to give a shout out to those guys?
I really truly don't think that people understand what goes into all of that. Obviously it's pretty important physically, but from a mental standpoint, you got to be a strong person and try to take care of a bunch of those things. You know? So you go score a touchdown, and the extra point team runs out there, and all the blocking's got to be right. Lawson's got to make sure we got a good snap coming back there. Massengale's got to put it down where it needs to be, and then Bentley's got to kick that thing through the uprights. That's a lot of things going on in one play. If you think about on a regular offensive play, a quarterback may get the ball and hand the ball to a running back, or he may get the ball and throw it, and one receiver's got to catch it. Okay, well, in that situation, there's a lot of moving parts that got to take place, and it's got to be done right. You would be amazed at how much time we actually spend on that. The first 5 minutes of practice, every single day, in the spring, in the summer, in boot camp, fall camp, and our regular practice sessions. Every single day, we do not deviate from that. We do that, right? And that's why, because it's too important, and that's why we spend that much time on it. So I have a lot of respect for those guys that have to get in there and do that, because the only time that you truly, get noticed in those situations is when it doesn't go right? And so, I have a lot of respect for those guys for getting in there, and that's their job, and they get it done every week. And then on the flip side, when you talk about the punter, you think about catching a football and getting ready to kick it, and knowing there's 10 guys running full speed at you. I mean, it is what it is. You got to block that stuff out, right? But we've been very fortunate, very blessed over the years here in Zachary to have some tremendous specialists, and then everything just got better when Coach Joey came on board, and we were able to really specialize on that and have somebody in charge of that day after day after day. So he and Coach Crowder do a good job working together as far as our special teams are concerned, and we feel like that could be a weapon for us every Friday night.
All right, next question comes from #1 fan. I like this question. You had a slow start against Central. How did y'all manage to get back on track and make that thing a close game?
Yeah, that's a really good question. Because in games like that, they can get out of hand sometimes. Doesn't have a whole lot to do with coaching, doesn't have a whole lot to do with anything other than our players settling in and trying to just stop the bleeding, right? Somebody's got to step up and stop the bleeding. And the other night that took place, we settled down, we got a good kickoff return, and started on the plus side of the field, and were able to put one in. and then had a nice steal, a nice drive right before the half to go put another score on the board, right before halftime. When you get to halftime, we're talking with our guys, and I was letting them know, this is why we defer every single week if we get the opportunity to defer, because you have that 2-for-1 situation there where you can score right before half, and then you come out of the locker room and have another opportunity to score right there. That was big for us, right? So being able to score, 21, at that point, 21 unanswered, you give yourselves a chance to win, right? And so I give a lot of that credit to our players for settling in. They could have gotten, at 21-7. Good Lord, one more bad thing's happened and you're 28-7, you got major problems. But our guys settled in and did a great job of coming back and doing what they need to do.
Let's expand on that a little bit.
Yep.
Let's talk about halftime adjustments or in-game adjustments. You got your defensive coordinator is down on the field, your offensive coordinator's in the box. You used to have Nagel there forever, who's seen everything. Talk about making adjustments.
Yeah. Well, exactly what you just said. You have in-game adjustments, and then you have halftime adjustments, right? Obviously, the halftime adjustments are much more detailed and drawn out because you have the time to actually go over the things that you need to go over. On the sideline, what the guy in the box is seeing may be one or two things that we did not take care of on that last drive. And so he's relaying that to the sideline coach, who's then taking the guys over in front of the television and showing them, okay, this is what just happened. Why did we do this? Why were we in this call? Why did this check get made? It's a lot of reiterating what the original game plan is, whereas at halftime, you might have some extensive deviation from what the original game plan was, right? And I think that's the biggest difference between the two, but I will tell you that the communication between up top and on the sidelines is super important to get things fixed and stop the bleeding immediately, or, hey, we're doing this really, really well, make sure we're continuing to do that. The guys in the box are usually charting a lot of things as far as what plays we've run, what kind of positive yardage we got on specific plays and why. Whereas on the defensive side, they're doing the same thing but in opposite fashion, right? They're charting plays as far as what they ran against us. Did we stop it or did we give up a big play on it? So when we see that formation again, we got to try to make sure we're prepared for it with our guys on the field.
Okay, so Kenny, offensive coordinator, he's in the press box.
Yeah.
He can kind of get a full view of things. You've been an offensive coordinator. What was your preference, press box or on the field, and why?
I like to be on the field because I just felt like I got a better sense of a feeling. I was an offensive coordinator that called plays on feeling, like how the game was unfolding, calling a play that was set up 3 plays ago, based off a feeling of what I saw. Kenny's a little more analytical as far as he's got charts in front of him. He's looking at what the down and distance is, how much do they blitz, when do they blitz, what percentages of the time are they going to blitz on third short or third medium or third long, whatever it is, and that's how he calls plays off of there. So we're two different kinds of play callers, but I think he and I work really, really well together because there's probably only 3 or 4 times a game where I will actually say, nah, I don't like that, call this. And there's no question to ask, he calls it, right? But the majority of the time, it's he and his offensive staff that are collaborating on what's going on. I'm usually just watching what's going on up front. I'm just watching O-line play most of the time and giving my 2 cents of what I see as far as that's concerned. If I see a play that happens and we just missed the block on the backside of it, but I saw it open up, I'll come on the headset and say, run the same play. And he said, right now, run the exact same play out of the exact same formation. And thankfully, most of the time, it'll pop for a much bigger play just because I saw what happened, what was supposed to happen, and our guy just messed it up. Right? And the next time he didn't, so we got a big play out of it, right? So I think, he and I have been working together for so long, we're very comfortable with each other as far as the offense is concerned.
All right, it's about that time, Coach Brew. Last regular season game, Thursday night, 2 nights.
Yeah.
Close us out.
First and foremost, I want to thank all the Zachary fans that came to the Corral last Thursday night. It was awesome to look up at the stands and see a packed house. So I appreciate that. I heard there was a lot of tailgating and stuff going on beforehand, so that's great. Thank you all for coming out. Certainly also want to give a shout out to that 2015 state championship team that came back to campus. It was awesome to see those guys again and have a chance to be able to recognize them and honor them. Certainly was very special to me and to the program. To everybody, we're going to close the regular season out this week on the road. That's a very, very big stadium. We're going to play in some of the most historic games in the history of Baton Rouge have been played in that stadium. And there's always a little magic that takes place in that big old stadium over there. So we'd love to see you come check that out, watch these Broncos go to work. Hopefully pull out a good win and get ready for playoffs the following week. So the weather's supposed to be pretty, not supposed to be near as cold as it has been. It's supposed to be nice weather. I think mid-70s will be kickoff time, so it'll be a great night. And we're excited about it, excited about our kids' preparation this week. Hope to see everybody there. Thanks for the support. Go Broncos.